Hi guys, this is Mr. Tan, and today we're looking at e-business and e-marketing. And really, today we're going to be focusing on, what needs to happen in terms of the organizational structure and change management. Because when you're doing e-business, it's different to, selling business to business and business in terms of offline marketing, and your whole organizational structure, if you're going that way inclined, it's going to need to differ in terms of a traditional organizational structure. And if you're moving from an traditional organizational structure to online, then you will need change management to think about certain things. So today we're going to cover change management, just briefly talk about a McKinsey's 7S framework and different types of change. So the session learning outcomes is to identify the different types of change that need to be managed for e-commerce, to develop an outline plan for implementing e-commerce change, and to describe the alternative approaches to organizational structure resulting from organizational change. So the digital business transformation. So significant changes to organizational processes, structures and systems implemented to improve organizational performance through increasing the use of digital media and technological platforms. So, new departments would need to be changed. A new different type of culture would need to be managed. New people would need to come into these departments for digital marketing, in terms of having the necessary skills and experience to do what needs to be done within that business area, and new resources and cash flows and aims and objectives. So this needs to be incorporated. You can't just carry on doing things the same way in terms of a traditional business if you're going online. So we're talking about the new way and the old way. So change management, managing processes, structure, technical, staff and culture change within an organization, and approaches to managing changes to organizational processes and structures and their impact upon organizational staff and the culture are known as change management. This is what change management is all about. And you have to kind of like, if you can imagine what working in an organizational structure and culture and an environment where you don't have an e-business or e-marketing, and then changing from that type of structure to e-business and e-marketing. So you kind of have to put yourself in a situation and see what would be needed in order to make this work. So the introduction of digital business often requires company staff to learn how to use new internal information systems, but more significantly, it will require new methods of working. The changes experienced by staff tend to be the greatest for large-scale projects, which are intended to assist digital business transformation. For example, the introduction of a digital system to support online sales or online procurement may, introduce major changes for staff working in these areas. Even if you think about Tesco's developing their online business, so imagine that they didn't have their online business and then they moved to an online business. Well, what did they need to do? Well, obviously they needed to develop the website, do market testing, have all their products put onto the website. And this is an ongoing, continuous process, because the website is going to be continually changing with prices, with products, in stock, out of stock, returns. So you're going to need a whole new business section to deal with the website itself. And then the orders coming in, the processing. Where does it go? Initially, Tesco's were, taking the orders, centralizing it, and then distributing it out to the stores. And then the stores would pick the products and then deliver it out to customers direct. So all this would need to be set up, because it didn't exist before. So again, new staff in terms of picking, in terms of ordering, in terms of coming into the stores, in terms of packing, in terms of going into the vans and then transporting it out direct to the customers. So all this would need to be set up. So considering different aspects of change, we need to plan for, these include scheduling, What are the suitable stages, for introducing change? Budgeting. How do we cost investment, in digital business systems and projects? Resources needed. What type of resources do we need? What are the responsibilities, and where do we obtain them? Organizational structures. Do we need to revise organizational structure? There will be a change if you look at the Tesco's organizational structure, but a new organizational structure in terms of these type of systems and new departments. So adding on to the existing structure, managing the human impact of change. What is the best way to introduce large-scale digital business change to employees? Technologies to support digital business change. The roles of knowledge, management, groupware, and intranets, are explored. Risk management. Approaches to managing risk in digital businesses projects. The Smart Insights interview below shows that many companies who have made a transformation to digital marketing are continuing to change, but continually through optimization. And this is the point. You start off with this, and then as you learn and as you grow, and as new technologies come, and you incorporate that into your business, then it's a constant place and dynamic place of continuous improvement. The challenges of digital business transformation. Well, challenges, in order to look at the levers of change that need to be assessed in order to maximize the benefits of digital business. And these include market and business model, the business process, organizational structure, the culture, staff responsibilities, technological infrastructure changes. And, when we talk about, again, we're going to be mentioning McKinsey 7S, and, with the McKinsey 7S, which you should have looked at before, you will have the primary activities and the supporting activities. And the technology and the organizational structure and culture will be the supporting activities of the primary activities of the business. So, key factors in achieving change. Again, if you've got change management, then at the top of this, you need to look at the market and business models. You have to understand the business processes. What are the processes and the stages involved? Otherwise, you can't implement effective change. Organizational structure and culture. Well, does the organizational structure and culture fit with that change? Technological infrastructure. Do you have the right technological infrastructure in order to do what you need to do? And in terms of getting it done, you need leadership commitment. Probably like transformational leadership styles. Project management, employee acquisition, retention, and employee ownership. So these are, the blue are like key success factors that you need for change, and the top are key levers for change. So these are all major changes that are required in order for an organization to be agile enough to respond to the marketplace changes and deliver competitive customer service. To help achieve these different aspects of change, a series of successful factors, seem to be required, and these include, a management buy-in and ownership, so they can actually be part of this and totally engrossed by it. Effective, project management. We talked about agile. Is it going to be agile project management? Or is it going to be the standard project management? Action to attract and keep the right staff to achieve change. You need the right staff to have the change. The right staff who have the right technological knowledge and the insight to know what needs to be done and what is required. And employee ownership of change. You need this employee ownership, and you need to get the employees involved within this. Otherwise, they won't change what they have been doing or the way the processes have been, within the organization. So again, you need to give the ownership to the employees. So we've got a little kind of activity here. The activity purpose: to investigate the impacts of change on employees associated with digital business. So the activity here is to speculate how the introduction of changes by a CEO or managing director, such as those illustrated by the top four boxes, figure 10.1, would affect different employees at a business to customer company. Imagine you are each of the following people. Now, what would your reaction be on a professional and personal level? What would your role in affecting these change be in terms of the marketing manager, the warehouse manager, the human resource manager, the IS manager, and the employee in call center? So think about that for yourself, um, and then see what you come up with. What do you think would happen? How do you think you would feel on a professional and personal level? The challenges, of sell-side e-commerce implementation. What are some of the challenges? A useful framework for reviewing an organization's capabilities to manage digital business-related transformation, is also shown in terms of the McKinsey 7S framework. Now, with the McKinsey 7S framework, you have the obviously the inbound. In terms of the primary activities, you have the inbound, you have the operations, and then the outbound logistics, customer service, and then you have the supporting, tiers on top of that, including HRM, including marketing and support, including information technology, and so on. And these all lead to profit margin combined. So again, when you're thinking about McKinsey 7S, you have to think about the whole company and how everything all integrates together. So elements of the S model includes the strategy, the structure, the systems, the staff, the style, the skills, and the subordinate. So the 7S strategic framework and its application to digital business management. Now, relevance to digital business, the construction of digital businesses, or influence and supporting organizational strategy. The modification of organizational structure to support digital business, the development of specific processes, procedures, or information systems to support internet marketing, the breakdown of staff in terms of their background, age, and sex, and the characteristics such as IT versus marketing, use of contractors, consultants, the style, including both the way in which key managers behaving and achieving the organization's goals, and the cultural style of the organization as a whole, skills, distinctive capabilities of key staff, but can be interpreted as specific skill sets of teams members. Subordinates, the guiding concepts of the e-commerce organizational, which also form part of the shared values and the culture. The internal and the external perceptions of these goals may vary. And then you have the key issues corresponding to those relevance to the digital business. Again, if we look at strategy, gaining appropriate budgets and demonstrating delivering value, return on investment from budgets, annual planning approach. We're looking at the structure, integration of the e-commerce team with the other management, the systems, campaign planning, approach integration, staff, insourcing versus outsourcing, style, relates to the role of e-commerce team in influencing strategy. It is a dynamic, influential, so, again, additional to that, skills, staff skills in specific areas, supplier, selection, project management, constant management, specific digital marketing, and so on and so forth. And so you need to take into consideration these 7S strategic framework. So this 7S kind of strategic framework also links to McKinsey's 7S in terms of their primary activities, as I said before, and their supporting activities. So this all forms part of the kind of like, with the McKinsey 7S value chain and the 7S strategic framework, all kind of links together to give you, the best solution for a business to go digital. Different types of change in business. You have incremental change, relatively small adjustments required by an organization in response to its business environment. Discontinuous change, change involving a major transformation in an industry. Organizational change, includes both incremental and discontinuous change to organizations. And incremental change, relatively small adjustments required by an organization in response to its business environment. And anticipatory change, an organization initiates change without an immediate need to respond. And reactive change, a direct response to an organization to a change in its environment. So reactive change includes tuning, adaptation, reorientation, and recreation. And the business process management, the BPM, this is an approach supported by software tools intended to increase process efficiency by improving information flows between people as they perform business tasks. So very, very important. Again, and you need these management systems and processes in place. And you need to have the right people who can actually work with this new technology and information systems and also improve as they go along. And you need the right technological systems incorporated within the infrastructure, again part of the supporting activities of McKinsey's 7S framework. So you need all of this for the business process management. Business process re-engineering, identifying radical new ways of carrying out business operations, often enabled by new IT capabilities. Business process improvement, optimizing existing processes, typically coupled with enhancements in information technology. But again, you need the right people and the processes involved to do this, and a cultural change, I would suggest. BPA, automating existing ways of working manually through information technology. Prototyping. This is a process in which website users suggest modifications before further prototypes and the live version of the site are developed. Prototyping is a common approach to the development of digital business systems. So if we look at prototyping, then we've got rapid, simple, iterative, incremental, and user-centered. So what we've covered today is change management, the 7S framework, kind of like, and I've also discussed with McKinsey's value chain as well, combining with the 7S framework because it's all coupled together, and different types of change as well. So thank you today from Mr. Tan.